got some questions.
All right, welcome back. Fox 5 News on the Hill this Sunday morning. If you spend any number of time watching this television station, you have seen story after story after story about the opioid epidemic in this country and the heroin problem regionally as well, too. These numbers are staggering. The opioid crisis has hit epidemic levels throughout the country. 33,000 people died in 2015 from overdoses. In Maryland alone, nearly 5 people a day die from a heroin or opioid-related overdose.
Well, Maryland Governor Larry Hogan, he has set up a task force to address this crisis and declare a state of emergency.
Joining us this morning is Rick Werner. These tragedies, sadly, have been hitting epidemic levels. Tragic overdoses of families throughout this country, friends. I don't know anybody right now, Rick, who has not been affected in this some way. So why don't we just start by you telling your story and how this came out of the blue for you?
Jamie was 27. Incredible kid, passionate kid. I miss him every day. He died in February. He had so much passion for life. He lived life to the fullest. He had so much promise. He had so much potential.
27 years old.
And he was taken from us
How
way
did this
too early.
How did this start?
Well, he had mental health issues, and as many folks know, I'm sure you guys know, mental health issues and substance abuse issues often go hand in hand. And so over the course of the past several years, he realized that he was having some issues. He was eventually diagnosed with bipolar disorder. And we don't know exactly how this happened, but somewhere along the way, he started using heroin. And we suspected several months ago, prior to February, that he was using heroin, but we could never get him to admit it. He's 27 years old, and in that situation, he's not a minor. If he's a minor, we could have just taken him and put him somewhere, but he would never admit it. Because the addiction is so strong, you don't want to admit it. That's the most important thing in your life. It becomes the most important thing in your life.
Tell us about your decision. This happened recently. This was February. Tell us about your decision to speak about your son's experience and what happened, and what kind of reaction have you received?
Well, let me take the reaction first. Every time I talk to anyone, they have their own story. My physician, my neighbor, son's friend, virtually any time I bring this up, someone will tell me their story that they've never told me and haven't really told many people at all. Mm-hmm. We almost all have a story, hopefully not as sad as mine. And so I guess that brings me to, it's good to reach out and talk to people.
Because are people ashamed? Is that, do you need to be that voice to make people feel brave enough to tell their story?
Maybe. We live in a wonderful, I'm from Bethesda, just down the road here, incredible community, love it. But there's also a notion that, we're all, very successful and we all do lots of things, and maybe we have a little bit of an image to keep up. And we need to share.
Well, one of the things we know about this problem is that the reality of this blows that image away. Because this is a problem that is in suburban communities. It is in urban communities. It is in all communities. There was a time when heroin was just a very insular problem. That's not the case anymore. We're seeing 27-year-olds like yours take it away from us. We're seeing other people, adults, who are starting either on opioid medication or going directly to heroin. One of the problems also is that we're finding out that some of this heroin that's bought on the street right now is laced with fentanyl. Exactly. And it is killing these people almost instantly. They are trying to take this medication to deal with whatever addiction they have without any knowledge of the fact that they are instantly killing themselves by injecting fentanyl.
That's exactly right. Fentanyl is a death sentence.
Talk to me about that and how much parents don't know about how much worse this is than they might think that it's just a heroin problem, and that says a lot just in that statement.
I know, that does say a lot. Fentanyl is 100 times more powerful than morphine. I think it's 50 times more powerful than heroin. There was a story about a police officer in Ohio who had been on scene of a fentanyl overdose, and he got some fentanyl on his shirt. And somebody back at the police station later said, "Oh, you got some fentanyl on your shirt." So what did he do? He brushed it off with his hand. It's so powerful, he almost overdosed from that. That's how powerful it is.
Rick, I want you to take a minute to just listen to some sound from Governor Hogan, and I'd really like your thoughts on how the state of Maryland is handling this, maybe any experiences you've had. Let's just take a listen to this.
We're here to tell you about a harsh reality that is having a devastating effect on our nation and in Maryland.
I'm Larry Hogan, Governor of Maryland. Opioid and heroin addiction affects Marylanders of all ages and demographics.
So has the state reached out? Have you felt any connection, or have you felt any frustration or anger with the state of Maryland and how they've handled this crisis to get to where it is?
I think I'm going to sort of plead the fifth on that at this point. I think I need to get involved with that effort. We're still sort of in the grieving process, which takes a while. I'm impressed with what Maryland's done to this point. I think Maryland's trying to do something.
It's been remarkable, the action actually that this governor has taken, creating a state task force led by the Lieutenant Governor Boyd Rutherford dealing with opioid abuse. The governor of Virginia, Terry McAuliffe, the mayor of D.C., Muriel Bowser, and Governor Hogan have all gotten together on a task force. The governor himself has been quite honest about the fact that this problem has affected his own family, a cousin of his as well, too. So the one message that I think you take away from this is that what you said, nobody's alone on this. You only really kind of have to either look within your own family or talk to your neighbor to find out this is a collective problem, and that's why so many people are taking such interest in this, both in D.C., Maryland, and Virginia.
Exactly.
And to Tom's point, we want to just let our viewers be aware of this website with important information, beforeitstoolate.org, and this hotline number, 800-422-0009, to maybe help stop a story like yours, Rick. But it's very brave of you and inspiring of you to come out here and share that, because I can imagine as a parent, this is the most difficult experience of your life. So.
Yes.
Understood. Yeah.
Yes.
We thank you so much. We thank you so much for sharing your story with us. Of course, there are a lot of resources out there, folks. So, it's at your fingertips. Go out there and look for it. We appreciate it. Thanks.
Thanks, guys.
Rick. Well, next up.